Hi, I'm Richard Cram. I'm Director of Network Management Software at TE Subcom.
I'm Jonathan Liss. I'm Senior Director of Software Engineering in the TE Connectivity R&D Labs in Eatontown, New Jersey. We're a company that designs and manufactures and installs undersea fiber optic transmission systems around the world. Much of the worldwide internet traffic, both data, voice, and video, are transmitted over cables that we've designed, built, and installed for our customers. The challenges with such systems is routine maintenance and fault location.
The way this works and the reason behind the patent is there's monitoring equipment on the shore ends that send a monitoring signal out that gets basically looped back through all these amplifiers, and then at the end all this data is collected pretty much simultaneously. And in the old days, someone would manually have to look at it and figure out what in the world is right and what is wrong. So the idea behind the patent was to automate this process so that you could send out the monitoring tones, get the data back, and automatically and quickly analyze it in a deterministic fashion and tell the operator whether you're okay or whether there might be a problem.
If we detect a problem, the operators use our patent to monitor the situation over time because the problem may not really be transmission affecting. Other problems may be mitigated by rerouting traffic around the fault, and they can do that also through our management system.
As we came up with new generations of equipment that could see faults to much finer granularity, we started seeing that the fault patterns were a lot more complicated than the original problem defined them as. But fortunately, when we put together the original algorithm, we did it in such a way that it was extendable, and you could almost apply any kind of fault pattern you can think of shape-wise to be looked for.
There was actually a third person on the team. He's since retired from the company. His name is Pete Theofall, and he and I were working on these maintenance and monitoring systems, frankly, since the early 1980s. I had an idea on how to improve interpreting the data from undersea cable, and I just didn't know how to implement the idea. One day, Rich was looking for a job, and he came to my office for an interview, and I interviewed him, and I explained the challenge to him, and he grasped it right away, and in fact came back the following Monday with a prototype of the solution. And at that moment I knew I wanted to work with Rich, and I knew we had a patentable idea.
To be put in the same breath as Edison is kind of a daunting thing, and I really thank the organization for thinking our patent was worthy of this award.
To me, to win this award at this stage in my career is sort of like closure, and it really feels good. And the values that Edison had are mimicked and parallel with the values that we have at TE Subcom, and our R&D labs remind me of what I see here in the museum, and so it really feels a very warm feeling I have.
Our equipment might look a little newer though.